Well, well, well.
Away.
After a 10.03 in Melbourne under heavy clouds and in the cold, it was clear Lachlan Kennedy was ready to crack the 10-second barrier. And over the last 2 days in Sydney at the Australian National Championship, he did it twice back to back. Damn, I'm good.
Away.
First, a blazing 996 in the heats, a ridiculously smooth run under zero pressure.
Going for it and going and getting it. Yes, you betcha.
Getting out first amongst his preliminary competitors and flying to the line. The conditions pretty neutral besides it being evening with almost no tailwind to speak of. And in the final, he'd repeat the same effort near verbatim,
Away.
this time in cooler conditions, 16 degrees Celsius, with ever so slightly more wind at his back.
It's very, very quick again. It's 997. It may come down.
And my goodness, are we starting to see a pattern out of his races. He just flies in the back half. Alright, although it's still not faster than the Australian record of 993 held by Patrick Johnson, or the white guy 100 metre world record, which I reference so frequently, of 992 held by Christophe Lemaitre, it is the fastest time ever ran by an Australian on Australian soil, and it's the first legal sub 10 at that. And I have a lot more to say on these records specifically, but first, I just want to talk about what impresses me so much about Kennedy. I've mentioned previously, I can't think of many sprinters who have gone from an elite starter with a weak or okay finish to being good at both. Or even vice versa, good finishers to good starters. Usually, most sprinters just abuse what they're good at. But after his last few races, it looks like Kennedy is in the middle of that transition. I will admit, it's hard to tell against domestic competition if his finish has actually gotten stronger since he's just beating on lesser athletes, but looking at some races from last year, firstly, he won silver at the World Indoor Championships in the 60 metre, where he blew apart some of the world's best 60 metre starters, outright leading by 20 metres. And even at the Prefontaine Classic in 2025. It's the middle of the outdoor season, and at 20 metres, even at 30 metres, he's step for step with Kashane Thompson, Christian Coleman, Trayvon Bromell, and Akeem Blake, who we all know are incredible starters, before of course tailing off into 10.08 seconds that same race. Heads up, 996 would have got fourth here, beating some big names. But that's besides the point. Over the weekend in his races, he didn't cook these guys off the gun. 10 metres, he's equal. 20 metres, he's maybe got an inch, and 30 metres, maybe a teensy bit more, before getting the majority of his gap from 50 to 100 metres. And in an interview I haven't been able to download yet, he mentions himself post-race. He's been working on the back end of his race, because when his start is on, it's up there with the best. We can attest to that. And the results of training on his finish are already spectacular. Every race we've seen from him so far this year, it's not many, but they have all been blowouts in the back half. Yeah, right now it still might not hold up to the world's best. Seville, Lyles, Benerick, Lavelle, Thompson even. But that's not a long list of guys. It's just really exciting. Being from the Oceanic region myself, it's a ticking time bomb. With two 996s, back to back, neutral wind, I can almost guarantee sometime this year he will break the Australian record, and even the very unofficial white guy world record, both of which were done with hefty tailwinds anyway. And when we do adjust the wind for them, theoretically, he's already ran the Australian record and the fastest white guy time ever, and both those races were done under the sun while he did it in the evening. But he does have super spikes and they don't. Regardless, it's all just fun speculation as usual. But the conditions can only be kinder. Give him a 2.0 wind, world-class competition, and the sun, that's a high 9.8 off the wind alone. But ignoring conditions altogether, he'll more than likely only get better anyway. I mentioned last video, this splurge of fast times came after an injury. What I forgot to mention, and was a major mistake, it came after a broken back. More specifically, that being a stress fracture. Still, that meant after Prefontaine, he wasn't running for months, and still, he instantly returns to the best form of his life, 10.03 and these two 996s, and they're the first races of his year. I'm going all in, undoubtedly there is more to come. He's also just such a unique sprinter in almost every way. Like really, after today, he's arguably the most talented white sprinter we've ever seen. There's a strong argument for Lemaitre still, but Kennedy is 22 and still has his whole career in front of him. He's managed to brute force his way to improving his finish. Off the top of my dome, that's not something I can recall from any other elite sprinter, and he does it all in his own unique running style. Well, sort of unique. This isn't meant as an insult in any way, but he runs like some of the women. My first thought is Melissa Jefferson Wooden, and to be fair, I hardly doubt being compared to the current fastest woman is an insult. It's just that we've seen women who run like men excel at the very top, but I can't think of men who did it the other way around. Maybe Michael Johnson, but he ran the 200 and 400 for a reason. His 100 just wasn't very quick. A question I asked myself last time is, do I think Kennedy will challenge the world? Yes, just probably not for a medal. Like please, I'd love to be proven wrong, but this next generation is incredible. But for a white male sprinter, which is already rare enough, and he's an Oceanic and an Australian athlete at that, well, I'm just a big biased fanboy, aren't I? Tomorrow, he'll be racing Gout in the 200 meter final if all things go according to plan. He may pull out due to the back-to-back 9.9s taking its toll, but just maybe he could go 3 for 3 against one of the most hyped prodigies in this sport. Or Gout will finally triumph and prove he can get it done when the competition gets hot. Regardless, how fun is athletics on my side of the world right now? And that's it, just a fun quickie for today, more to come this weekend. Let me know what you think, put predictions of Kennedy's 100 meter time this year down below. And Cameron Myers is gearing up for something dirty in the 1500 meters over here. See y'all next time.